Welcome back to Officials at the Table with Rana. Today we are honored to sit down with the man who known for his leadership, an elected official, a public servant who committed to serving and protecting the people of Fort Bend County, Sheriff Eric Fagan, Sheriff of the most growing and diverse county in state of Texas. From his true leadership, public service, and the future of law enforcement, Sheriff plays a major role for the people of Fort Bend County. We welcome Sheriff Eric Fagan. How are you doing, sir?
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for giving us time out of your very busy schedule, sir.
Well, thank you for this interview. I really appreciate
No problem. Let's start from before you become a police officer, you joined the law enforcement. Who was Eric Fagan before coming to the law enforcement?
Well, we're going way back in time because I actually joined law enforcement back in 1984. I got interested in law enforcement at a young age because in my community, we didn't really trust law enforcement. Didn't trust law enforcement as a young person. I was born back in the 60s. So that'll tell you, law enforcement and my community really wasn't together. And you probably can relate to that.
Yes, sir.
Law enforcement in the minority community across the nation wasn't really together. Well, my education, I majored in criminal justice. I wanted to change that narrative. In all corporations, businesses, you have good and bad. But the only way you can fix something is by becoming a part of it to make that change. So that's what I wanted to do. So in '84, I joined Houston Police Department in law enforcement. And there, while I was working in law enforcement, I had my degree. I majored in criminal justice, I had my degree, and then I was running into individuals that had mental illness. Back in the 80s, law enforcement and mental illness, we didn't know that much about it. And we have to own that. We didn't. Law enforcement, now we're catching up. But it bothered me that I would arrest someone and they didn't understand why I was arresting them. I didn't understand, they didn't understand. Like, you broke the law. It's obvious. You just shoplifted or you just broke into someone's home and you didn't understand why I was arresting them. With this one individual, it actually happened that he was shoplifting at a Kroger in Houston. And he would do it every week. It was a small item he would take, but when he would steal it, he would come outside and just sit on the corner. Wouldn't run away, he would eat whatever then when I came there, it was in my beat, in my area, when he would be crying. And I was like, well, you do this every week, you know I'm coming to make the arrest or something like that. Sometimes I even offered to pay for what because it was very minor.
Right.
But they wanted to press charges. I didn't understand what was going on. Well, I went back to school and majored in juvenile forensic psychology to find out what was going on. And so I got my master's in that, and I trained under a licensed psychiatrist, a medical doctor, and we did psychological evaluations on individuals before they went to jail. From Harris County Jail, we did psychological evaluation. It was a court order. So I learned more about that. And law enforcement, we started catching up because, look, it shouldn't be a death sentence for an individual with mental illness when you call law enforcement for help. And back then, it was pretty much that because they didn't understand what was going on.
Right.
And law enforcement officers didn't understand what was going on. And sometimes things escalated, didn't have to, and that person who needed clinical help sometimes got injured or died, or the officer got injured or died, when all it took was learning about that. So we learned, law enforcement is learning about that, and we have something called CIT, Crisis Intervention Team, where law enforcement learns more about mental illness. And so we can know what to do to help these individuals.
Right.
Well, all of that, I did 35 years with the Houston Police Department, retired, and then I ran for office for the sheriff's office. I brought all that knowledge about mental illness and law enforcement here to this agency, bringing this agency.
Yeah. Sorry, let me ask you this question. What inspired you to run for the office in between that?
Well, what inspired me to do that, while I was working for the Houston Police Department, I lived in Fort Bend County, in the area of Missouri City. I lived in Fort Bend County for over 31 years, raised my family, my 2 children, my wife, we raised them. And the sheriff's office, I was here, and 2 things made me run. One, it was a statement made that a minority person would be on the command staff of the sheriff's office at that time if they can find a qualified person to be on the command staff.
Right.
That bothered me. I lived in Fort Bend County. I had a master's degree. I was awarded Officer of the Year, one of the highest awards in law enforcement, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And you saying you can't find a qualified person to be on the command staff? Fort Bend County is the most diverse county in the state, not only in the state, but in the U.S., the most diverse. We speak over 125 languages. So we have young people, diverse young people, looking at the command staff of the sheriff's office and nobody that looks like them, that represent them on that command staff. That sends a message. And so when I became sheriff, I wanted my command staff to reflect the community. But I want people to understand something. I didn't pick individuals on my command staff because they were minority. No, I wanted qualified individuals, the qualified individuals. I have one of the most diverse command staffs in Fort Bend County. It reflects who we work for. So your child, my child, the public's children, they see someone that looks like them.
Right.
That sends the message that we understand what your needs are. Also, when they look, they can say, I can do that. I can be there. That's the message I wanted to send to Fort Bend County.
Right. Well, Sheriff, thank you for telling us all that. Very inspiring story. Why the people of Fort Bend County like you so much? Doesn't matter if they are, what religion they come from, what race they come from. Everybody, whenever it comes to Sheriff Eric Fagan, everybody got to say something good about you. Why is that?
Well, I'm blessed. I have to say, the people of Fort Bend County, that diversity, it means something. They're welcoming. Fort Bend County is a great place to live and to raise your family. If you look at the statistic, Fort Bend County is the most educated, influential. Businesses can grow. When people invite me to things, I go. I don't look at Republican or Democrat. No, I look at it as a resident of Fort Bend County. And law enforcement has to be blind. Law enforcement has to be blind. Lady Justice has to be blind. When I say blind, I mean we can't look at race, color, gender, or sexual orientation.
Right.
Everybody in law enforcement has to be treated equally across the board.
Yes.
That's the message I want to be sent out, and I hope that individuals and look like they are seeing that.
Yes.
So, because I don't look at you as anything but a resident of Fort Bend County.
You are the sheriff of Fort Bend County. You play the major role in Fort Bend County in law enforcement, protecting the people of Fort Bend County. How many, our viewers wants to know how many staff members you have, included reserve, deputies, and everybody?
Total, I have close to 900, over 800 individuals, employees, sworn officers, like maybe 500 and something, 211 on patrol.
Wow.
It sounds like a lot, but actually it is not. Fort Bend County is growing. We're one of the fastest growing. They even came up with a new term just for Fort Bend County, rapid growth in the population. Currently, by the last census, we have over 975,000 individuals living in Fort Bend County. You know, everyone don't take that census. So actually, we have over 1 million individuals. What that equates to every 4,600 individual, there's one sheriff deputy for every 4,600. The national average, though, is supposed to be in law enforcement for every officer, one officer, is for every 1,000 residents. That put us 4 times behind the national average. My deputies are doing an outstanding job, though. We're working overtime and working hard to make sure Fort Bend, and you can check, the safest county in the state of Texas. We're doing that job, but we need help, so we're hiring. So if anybody's looking for a job, please look at Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office.
Are you happy with the Commissioner's Court?
Yes and no. Yes and no. They're working with us. Look, I understand money is not infinite.
Right.
They have to stay within the budget.
Yes.
But we have to make the priorities correct. The first responsibility of any elected official, not just the sheriff, is from the county judge to every 4 commissioners, to the county treasurer, to the county tax assessor, to the dog catcher.
Right.
The very first responsibility for any elected official is the safety of the citizenry.
Right.
So we have to put the money where your mouth is. What's more important? Safety is the most important thing. I understand we have a budget. We have to stay within our budget. But every year, other agencies, they are raising their salaries. We're playing catch up.
Right.
We can't do that. We have to set the standard. We're the largest law enforcement agency in Fort Bend. We have the most equipment. When other agencies call for help, who do they call? They call the sheriff's office. And we're going to always answer to help, to work with them. But we need that manpower. So we need Commissioner's Court to understand that. And they are working with us. I don't want people to take that wrong. We do work with the Commissioner's Court, but we need them to understand Fort Bend is growing. We have to keep up with that growth.
Right. And they need to understand that you're the county-wide.
Yes.
You're not the constable agency like one precinct
No.
or one city cop. I understand that. We understand that as a resident of Fort Bend County. So, Sheriff, what is the one thing you're most proud of since you took over the office? You have done something like, just tell me one thing you're most proud of.
I'm gonna have to cheat and say 2 things.
2 things, let's do that.
One is I got a raise for my employees at the sheriff's office.
Yes, sir.
I got them a raise. Then number 2, our regional academy that we're building. This regional academy is not just for the sheriff's office, it's the only regional academy in the Southern District. We're gonna have state, local, federal agencies coming to our regional academy. We're gonna open the doors for individuals from the community to come to learn about active shooters. I'm very sad what happened in San Antonio, that mosque that got attacked. But here in Fort Bend County, we can train individuals at mosques what to do when an active shooter come here, or any church entity, what to do. Businesses, they can come train at our regional college on what to do. Our law enforcement agencies can come train to do that. We have federal and state agencies already signing up to come train at our facilities. So that's something I'm very proud of, that we got that built with the commissioners that helped us get this built.
Yeah.
So we're being proactive. So that regional academy is bringing in federal and state law enforcement agencies here at Fort Bend County.
Very nice. And this is your second term?
This is my
sheriff.
second term, yes.
Perfect. Sheriff, tell me about it. I heard a few years back you have helped, we were talking about the mental health just in the beginning. You helped this individual, had a mental health problem, he left his house or something. Please tell us the story. I think you went above and beyond to help that individual and brought him back to the house.
You talk about the young man that had ran away from home.
Yes, yes.
He ran away from home. And what happened was that he went online and it was more of a human trafficking. Some individual told them online, if you come to the railroad station, Amtrak, that we will meet you there, and a group of us will go to, I think they were going to California or something like that. Well, that individual family were worried about him. He had ran away, they didn't know where he was. So I actually went to the home. I had my people go online. His sister went on and found that he was tracking that message. Think about that. Individual that you don't know is telling you to come to California, and you by yourself. It could be a human trafficker. So I actually personally went down to Amtrak. I used my connection with HPD. At the time, Chief Finner was the chief of HPD. I called him and he helped us. He sent a unit to Amtrak. We got a description of the young man. So they got there before me because I had to come from Fort Bend County to downtown Houston, and they held him there, and we brought him back home safely.
Yeah. So in our community, it was a big deal. Like, you went all the way above and beyond to help the individual, right? So thank you for that, whatever you do for our community, Sheriff. And let's talk about the technology. I see Sheriff Office use a lot of technology as compared to, I don't want to take any other agencies, I don't want to make a comparison, but we see online on Facebook, you use Android apps. How does that work with the Sheriff's Office?
Well, we're bringing the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office into the 21st century. We have the Sheriff app. On that Sheriff app, let's pick a time like Halloween, trick-or-treating, and your kids are going out trick-or-treating. You will want to know if you had a registered sex offender living 2 doors down from you, would you want your child to go to that house for candy? You wouldn't. So if you knew that, you know to stay away, to have your child to stay away from that. Or on my Sheriff's app, we have all of them registered. All you have to do is look on the Sheriff's app and see that. Also, it helps you to file complaints a lot quicker. Also, now we have drones. We bought more drones to be sent up to help individuals, quicker service, and also it helps my officers to know where a suspect may be. If that suspect have a weapon or something like that, that can be relayed back to the officers so they'll know. That'll help them as well. Also, we're using technology to keep individuals with dementia, with children with mental disabilities safe. When they run away from home, we have monitors that we can put on them, and we can find those individuals a lot quicker and safer to bring them home safely. So we're using technology to be a force multiplier to help us, to help individuals in Fort Bend County.
Very nice. I know the importance of that because I work with, I have few organizations with the special need kids. I help them, as you know, like I'm in a business of ambulance, work with the patients for last 9 years, so I know how important it is for even parents, they're always appreciating us to taking care of their kids.
Yes. Well, I know you're kind of an humble person. You do a lot more than that. When I talked about Halloween, trunks and treats, we need candy to give to the kids so they can come to us to do. Well, you always donate tons of candy for that. So I want to thank you for that. Anytime law enforcement reach out to you, you're always one of the first to come up to help. So it only takes a phone call. Not only here in Fort Bend County, you do that in Harris County as well. So from law enforcement, I want to say personally, thank you. And the people in Fort Bend, not only in your community, but all communities, you've always been there to help.
Thank you so much for saying that, Sheriff.
And you didn't pay me to say that either.
Definitely not. Sheriff, we want to see you do like 10 more terms, I would love to see you as Sheriff, I mean, I can't say forever, but whenever, at least 3-4 more terms.
Well, thank you.
No problem. As a Sheriff, as a youth, I'm a youth myself, we look up to you, we want to be like you. So tell us, the people who wants to be a law enforcement, who wants to join as a newcomers, what one advice for the youth you have?
My advice for any youth that want to come into law enforcement is to education. Education is big. I know people think you have to be educated to be in law enforcement. Yes, because law enforcement, you have to know how to deal with different individuals, And law enforcement is not just a job, it's a career of service. One of the greatest things you can do is to be a service to others. My faith teaches me that, to be a servant, to help individuals. So if you want a job in law enforcement, have the heart of service. Have the heart to help other individuals. Think of others before yourself. And the best way to do that is to volunteer. Do volunteer service. Also, like I said, education. I can't say enough about that. I grew up in the area of South Park in the 60s. Everybody I knew looked like me. I didn't have the opportunity to meet South Asians, to meet individuals who are Caucasian or any other individuals. I learned that when I went to college. College opened up my world. I met different individuals, and I learned that we had more of the same. Don't let the media be your teacher. Let life experience be your teacher, because when you do that, you'll find out that they want the same thing we want. They want safety. They want to move up. They want their children to do better than them. The same things we want. I learned that we have more things in common than we have differences. So that's what I want the young people to know. If you want to get in law enforcement, get that education.
Sure. Yeah. So everybody knows in Fagan County you are the most respected family man. You know, you're always talking about your family is always with you. Your beautiful wife is always with you. You know, I have huge respect for her in my heart. So how do you manage this responsibility and manage your family at the same time?
Well, I have to give all praises to my Lord and Savior, Christ. I was blessed to have a wonderful wife. We've been married now for over 41 years. Blessed, and we were blessed to have 2 children. But I put my God first, family second, then law. I have to have that order, and
Right.
that's why my wife is my partner, my partner. A lot of things that I do at the sheriff's office, I run it by her. As you know, we talk about it and things like that. So we're a partner,
Yes.
a partner in that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
Because my family is very important to me. It's very important. But if I keep that in order, God, family, work, it all blends together. It all blends together.
No, definitely. Sheriff, I would like to thank you for the interview, for giving us, my team, that respect. I would like to thank your staff for being very respectful, from your deputy to the command staff. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
You're
you.
indeed a very good man, and
Thank
of course a very good sheriff.
Thank you.